Hi, I'm Daniel Linder, marriage family therapist, addiction specialist, and relationship trainer practicing in the San Francisco Bay Area for over 30 years. And I also developed and created the relationship model of addiction. The topic for today's video blog, which is today is 12/1/2011, is setting and maintaining clear boundaries in your relationships. Now, what I have found is that the primary challenge in recovery, and this is what every recovering person needs to do, this is part of the recovery journey, which is to make the transition out of unhealthy relationships that feed addiction and into healthy relationships that promote recovery, self-growth, and self-reliance. So what I have found is that one of the biggest problems that recovering people encounter on this transition is their inability to set and maintain clear boundaries. Now, before I get more into about how to do this and how important it is, why it's so important is, I want to emphasize two basic principles that go into, that it's very important that you understand in order to continue on this transition and be able to accomplish what I was talking about, getting into healthy relationships. So you got to understand that the most important relationship is with yourself. That's number one. It's always. This may be a new concept for you, but it is the most important relationship in all of your relationships is with yourself. Second principle is kind of understanding what a relationship consists of, or how to define a relationship. And I will just setting it up so just some terminology is that a relationship consists of two separate autonomous entities, two selves that we call me and you. And so what having a relationship with yourself means simply is that when you have a relationship with yourself, you are aware, you are connected to what you're thinking, feeling, wanting, and needing at any given point, at any given moment, in any interaction, and that expressing those feelings and operating in your own interests to represent those thoughts and feelings and needs that you have is your top priority. That's what having a relationship with yourself means. So what I've seen is that codependency is the primary stumbling block. This is what really gets in the way of being able to set and maintain clear boundaries and make that separation between me and you. Because codependents tend to put the other person's needs and feelings above their own. And also how they feel about themselves depend on how well they take care of others. So the journey for recovering codependence, especially codependence, is a process of reprioritization. That is, learning to make your needs and feelings your top priority and learning to operate in your own best interests at all times, to get comfortable with that. This is it's a paradigm shift. And then also, along with that, is learning to rely on yourself for your own sense of well-being so that you don't put all those eggs into the basket of the other person. So your well-being doesn't depend on how well you take care of others or how others feel or respond to you. You have your own internal locus or internal source for your own well-being, and you're basically taking responsibility for yourself as opposed to depending on, defining yourself according to how other people respond to you. So one of the ways that you develop and make this transition and this process of reprioritization is by learning and practicing setting and maintaining clear boundaries in all of your relationships. So I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to talk about a real live example of how this can play out in your lives. This is pretty common. But I'm going to pose you a question. The question is, how do you deal in a relationship? What do you do when someone you love and who loves you wants to help you? They just want to help you do something, whatever it is. We'll get into an example in a minute. But you don't want their help. So what often happens is that you're in a dilemma because since you're caring more about the other person and they're wanting to help you, you accept their help and let them kind of run your life or impose their help on you when you would maybe prefer to do it yourself. For example, I worked with a woman recently who told me that she was having difficulty setting and maintaining clear boundaries. She was aware that she needed to, but was also aware that she was having a really hard time because she was starting a relationship search on an online dating service. And she was sharing her pursuits and exploits with her friend. And her friend got really excited for her and got really involved and basically started taking over the navigation of this journey and would be telling her what kind of pictures she should be putting up on her profile, what kind of story she writes, how to write who she is and what she's about, so that it presents the right image, so that she's a more interesting person, and to look this way and to say these things. And this was completely antithetical to what she wanted to do and what she knew to be the effective way, or a more honest and real way of looking to meet other people, which is to be yourself, not be hung up on some kind of image or story that makes her look, or that creates a certain impression that makes her look better or different than who and how she really is. So the question is, how is she going to deal with her friend? So what I suggested when I was working with her, I suggested some scripting for her to practice getting these words out of her mouth, and preferably to put them into her own words using the idea behind this script. For example, I told her that she could say to her friend, you know what? I really appreciate your efforts, and I know you love me, and I know you're trying to help me, and I just want you to know that I'm working with a relationship coach, and I've learned a lot about, I've been in therapy a long time, and I've learned a lot about relating and how to do this meeting thing and kind of maximize my chances of making a connection and making it work for me. And I want to do it myself. I know how to do this. I want to gain my own experiences. I'm learning about myself, and I have my own ideas about how I want to proceed. So that was one part of the scripting part, is just to establish what she was feeling. And also, let me add that, she could have said that she feels like her boundaries are being encroached, or that it feels like her friend is interfering with her journey. And so she would need to tell her friend that she feels that she's interfering and she wants to do it herself. So that's part one of the assertion, and establishing her own experience in this relationship with a friend. The second is for her to then check out with her friend whether, are you getting me? Do you understand? It's nothing personal. It's not about you. I know you're trying to help me, but I want to establish a boundary. I want you to understand that I want to do this myself, and I don't need your input because it feels like interference. Can you get that? Is that okay that you could, support me more by just listening and rooting for whatever successes, or sharing with me, listening and hearing what my struggles and challenges are without kind of jumping in there and directing the show and telling me what to do? And if her friend could get that, then she has taken several important steps towards the journey of recovery for codependency, which is reprioritization of your needs. I'm number one. What I'm feeling, wanting, and needing matters the most. If I don't take care of myself, no one's going to take care of me. And I'm going to be okay as long as I'm taking care of myself. So I hope this helps. This is just as an example of what setting and maintaining clear boundaries means. I hope that you could use this and relate to this in your own journey of relating. And I would really appreciate it if you could add some comments. If you have any comments, you have any questions about this, to write them in below, and I will be happy. I want to continue engaging with you around this process. So thank you, and I'll see you on the other side.